This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Place to Be Nation. Welcome back to PTBN's NBA Team Podcast for this sort of special excursion episode. I'm one of your co-hosts, Andrew Reich. I'm joined by Adam Murray.
All right, we are now moving on to the West. I hope you enjoyed the East as much as we did, just rambling through names and going yes or no. So continuing on, we're going to start with an interesting case with Dallas. Dallas has 5 players they need to expose. So let's start from the bottom. So Dwight Powell, Omax Prosper, and Brandon Williams are just a safe no, I would imagine.
Yeah, they've been trying to get rid of Powell for a long time. Yeah.
Okay, so out of this group I'm going to name, we need to now expose 2 people.
Okay.
Davis, Kyrie, Clay, Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, Caleb Martin, Najee Marshall, Max Christie, Jaden Hardy, and Derek Lively.
First of all, I would keep all the bigs, meaning Washington, Gafford, Lively, and Davis, untouchable. Kyrie, I just don't think that would be a good strategy. I would protect him.
I would expose him knowing they're not going to take him because he has no market. Okay. So you would have to be worried if, let's say,
if Kyrie Irving is available in the expansion draft, he goes number 1.
But that handicaps your salary team. You have to get all minimum players, and he'll be a complete moody bastard being there.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll be like, I'd
rather expose Clay before I expose Kyrie Irving.
I think with $43 million, they're going to say nobody's going to take you because there's nobody else who wants you.
Now, he has a player option. There's a possibility he could opt out and sign for less.
He could. So that's why I would also expose him, saying they're not going to take you because you could just opt out. If the team, the expansion team takes him and cuts him, he cannot go back to his original team.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just say, I'm going to go back to Dallas. But nobody else wants him.
What if a rival team gives a first-round pick to them so that they pick Kyrie so he can't go back to Dallas when they cut him? See, you got to think Dallas.
But why would you waste a pick to get somebody that
to weaken your division rival or your conference rival? All right, I'm vetoing this. This is the one I'm using. Kyrie Irving is not getting exposed. Period.
So you're exposing both Caleb Martin and then Jaden Hardy.
Yes, I am. If you got to get another guard, use the mid-level exception to do so. I would also protect, obviously, Najee Marshall and Max Christie.
Well, yes, that's why I said between. Yeah. So we are exposing.
So I used my one veto for the show.
Okay. And then conversation just stopped and I moved on. .org. Denver. I think this is fairly cut and dry because they need to expose 5 players.
The Calvin Booth originals.
The Calvin Booth All-Stars.
Yes.
So we got Nikola, we got Jamal, cousin Jamal, Michael Porter, Aaron Gordon, Christian Braun, Peyton Watson, Deron Holmes, and Julian Strother.
Yeah,
that's the only ones.
Yeah.
That's the only ones that's their entire roster.
Sarge was a disappointment. We had Najee in last year's expansion.
We had Najee. They hate Najee. The only one who likes Zeke Najee.
Russell Westbrook
Calvin
is
Booth.
An opt-out situation, so why would you?
He's an opt-out situation. Plus, he's a minimum. Why would you want him, who would just be a malcontent?
Jalen Pickett and Hunter Tyson
have done nothing. So. Between
Holmes hurt his Achilles, but you got to take a chance on him. You can't.
He's
just
a first-round pick, essentially a rookie. So I don't see a reason. So that's fairly.
What's amazing about the Nuggets is the disparity between the 4th highest paid salary and the next one. It's pretty crazy. So Jokic is super max, of course. Murray is close to it. Porter's rookie max. Gordon's at 23 million. The next one is 8 million for Najee. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then it's just all a bunch of rookies.
Right.
It's most Pickett, Tyson didn't really play. So it's just like, oh yeah, you wasted just a dysfunctional, a sad way to end their title window. Yeah. All right, Golden State needs to expose 3 players. Obviously, we're going to keep Steph, Jimmy Butler, Draymond, Moses, Buddy
Buddy.
Hield,
Yeah.
Pozemski, Quentin Post they like, and then Kuminga, thus leaving Pat Spencer, Trace Jackson Davis, and Guy Santos.
Can I make the case that they just exposed Kuminga?
And let him go for nothing.
Yes. I mean, who is going to do a sign and trade with the Warriors when they're already at the tax limit? Like, wouldn't that be hard to do a sign and trade?
So you're just going to
because you're hard capped.
But you can then move you need players. You can't
I was almost of the mindset that they were not going to even give him a qualifying offer.
No, they're going to give him a qualifying offer because they have to.
Mm-hmm.
And you let somebody else overpay to it, or do a sign and trade to get something.
I'll relent on because of the Kyrie thing. I'll relent on this one, and I'll just say protect Kuminga.
You can't let him go for nothing.
Expose Trace Jackson Davis. They like Trace Jackson Davis, but
because if you're Brooklyn, you could just say, "All right, draft Kuminga. We'll give you a first for him," as opposed to having to deal with Golden State and offering all these players and picks to get him.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's just. Like, if you expose Kuminga, you're going to save Trace Jackson Davis. Like, really? He's the play.
Well,
he's the Luka Garza of the year.
Here's the thing: Steve Kerr's a unique coach. Once he gets a guy that he likes, he really like Gary Payton II. Like, he keeps them. Payton II's not on this list because I believe he's a free agent. But but you get what I'm saying. Like, once they like somebody, he hangs on to him. TJD is one of those players. Pajemski is one of those players. But it took a while for him to come around. With Kuminga, it never came around. It just never did. Quinn Post is another one that he likes.
Yes.
So, but yeah, let's go ahead with that. But they exposed Trace Jackson Davis.
Houston has a problem. They have too many people.
I see what you did there.
They need to expose 4 players. So we got Van Fleet, Şengün, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, Jabari Smith, Reed Shepard, Eamon Thompson, Jock Landale.
Yeah, but just in case, just for the sake of exercise, so you explain why we can't do this. What if I wanted to trade half of the roster for Kevin Durant?
Your roster list is set at this date
because you got to do this before the trades. Yes.
So no team is gonna, your protection list is done. This is our list. I wouldn't imagine any team is be like, I need to shake up my roster and send a new protection list to you.
Right.
This
is where strategy comes in, but here's where this is tricky though for Houston because they are a good team. You have young, cheap players like Cam Whitmore and Tari Eason, but you also want to protect as many higher salary players as possible in the event that you get put into a mega trade.
You're too deep. So also, you have Eason, Aaron Holiday, Cam Whitmore, Jonathan Williams. So Jonathan Williams, Aaron Holiday, Jock Landale, definitely no. So between Cam Whitmore, Tari Eason, and I'm going to throw out, let's put Fred VanVleet on there, only because of his high salary.
Yeah, because he has a team option, though.
Yeah, but I think, so you'd keep VanVleet?
I would keep VanVleet. I would actually run the risk of exposing Dylan Brooks.
You would expose Dylan Brooks over?
Yeah, I can't expose Jabari Smith Jr. because I might need him in a trade. Same with Reed Shepard.
No, I would keep Brooks because he is still defensively very good, and Cam Whitmore.
I can go with that.
I would just say Cam Whitmore is the odd man out.
I think so too, even though he has talent.
He does have talent, but he wasn't.
I know you already mentioned him, but Amen, absolutely not. Şengün and Green, absolutely
not. No, those are all. To me, it became between Whitmore, Eason, and VanVleet. One of those.
So you would kind of play a little bit of Russian roulette with the Fred VanVleet contract, where he has a team option on a big money. You can turn it down, and then he can sign for.
I would
for more
play.
Years.
I would play hard. I would play fast with that, but you talked me into keeping him. And Cam Whitmore, I think last year it came down to Whitmore and Eason. They battled it out. There was only one position for those two, and Eason.
Keep everybody. You have good young players. You draft well, but you can't keep everybody.
Became the guy. Clippers. They need to expose 4. I think this is fairly simple.
This is the easiest one. When I was doing this was the easiest one.
So we're going to keep Kawhi, James Harden, Norman Powell, Ivica Zubac, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Derek Jones Jr., Chris Dunn, and Cam Christie, thus exposing Batum, Eubanks, Brown, and Miller? Question mark.
Batum, yeah, that's fine. He's
Batum
very old
because
and
he's
he's very
52
long.
years old.
I was actually thinking of the Cam Christie exposure, but it's okay. I can get with Nick Batum being exposed. He's
I
very
would
low
say
and
Batum
talented.
because he's so old. Why would you need a guy who could be like, I might retire anyways?
Yeah. My wonder about Batum is that is he going to try to hold out one more year or 3 to play in the Olympics one more time for France? So maybe he
But
just wants
even
to
with
stay
that, he
active.
could just go back to France for the year.
He can play in Europe. Yeah, he can do that if he wants.
That's why he could just. I don't see.
They actually use the BAE, which is not everybody knows what that is. It's called the biannual exemption. They actually use that on Nick Batum. The Clippers did. But yeah,
Well,
the
the
bottom
Clippers like him.
Eubanks, Kobe Brown, and Jordan Miller. Yes, I would expose them.
All right, now we're going to come to a little messy one, and I'm surprised I haven't had to use my veto yet. So, okay, Lakers need to expose 4. We got
Expose
LeBron,
LeBron James.
Luca, Rui Hachimura, Dorian Finney-Smith, Austin Reeves, Jared Vanderbilt, Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, Dalton Connect, Shake Milton, Bronny, and Jonathan Goodwin. So we need to expose 4. Let's just get Goodwin, Shake Milton, and Maxi Kleber out of the way.
Yeah, Kleber is is tight with Luca. The thing is though, like physically, he's just not there.
So that leaves us keeping one between Bronny. We don't connect a first round pick, and even though they trade him, he's still a first round pick. I couldn't see them exposing him.
Yeah.
So between Bronny, Gabe Vincent, I think it's just between those 2.
You're gonna hate me. I would protect Bronny James. I would, because I can see the pettiness from LeBron in his final year, where if Bronny gets picked by the Las Vegas team, LeBron will say, "All right, screw you. I opt out of my deal and I'll go to Las Vegas." I can
I
see it.
I could see it as a political thing too. I'm not against it.
You know, it'd be funny if they protected Bronny but didn't protect LeBron. That'd be funny.
Okay, now we have another team that's too deep. In the Memphis Grizzlies, they need to expose 4 people. However, this roster has a ton of people who all played. So we got Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., Brandon Clark, John Conchar. Okay, easy. We could cut him. Expose him. Zach Edey,
Right.
Jay Huff. You could expose Jay Huff. Vince Williams Jr., Scottie Pippen Jr., Gigi Jackson II, Jalen Wells, and Santi Aldama.
Okay, you have to protect Jalen Wells and Scottie Pippen Jr. You have to.
Jalen
Wells has got
to protect.
he's got a future, and Scottie Pippen is on low money, and he's a good backup point guard in the NBA.
We're keeping Jalen Wells off. Santi Aldama, you're going to keep, I believe.
Yeah, he's an RFA, but don't let him walk away. Yeah.
So between Gigi Jackson and Vince Williams, we have to keep one of those 2. I don't really have a. I would say maybe keep Gigi Jackson because he's younger.
Yeah. In case you have injuries with Jaren Jackson Jr. again. And that would expose Vince Williams. Vince Williams was in our
Wait, hang on. Did I, or is Scottie Pippen the one of the 4 we keep? So we got Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., Clark, Edey, Jalen Wells, Santi Aldama. So yeah, it's between Scottie and Gigi. But you're going to keep Scottie.
I would keep Scottie over Gigi in that situation.
Then Scottie's the last one in. Vince
and we also
Gigi.
said Jay Huff and John Concha are gone.
Yeah. My counting was wrong.
I would also protect Brandon Clark. Because Clark actually lineup wise helps unlock a lot of things for them.
When he's healthy, he was very
good. He's had a torn Achilles and he's busted his knee up. It's but he is a good player when he plays.
All right, now I think we're going to get into some trouble. This I do not know. I just seeing your trend.
Why? Because when you want to see if I'm going to protect Luka Garza again, is that why? I think this one's cut and dry, to be honest with you. Talk about the Wolves.
Minnesota needs to expose 4. So we're going to keep Edwards, Gobert, Randall, Jade McDaniels, Naz Reid, Dante DiVincenzo, Dillingham, and Terrence Shannon. That's
So you would
8.
expose Mike Conley.
Who are you gonna? There's also Luca Garza, Leonard Miller, and Jalen Clark. So
No,
Garza, Miller,
they
Clark.
played Clark a little bit when he finally came back from his Achilles issue, but he yeah, I don't see it there. Terrence
So
Shannon, do not let him walk. Dillingham, God, he's
he
young.
was the he was the 7th pick. You can't let him go because they traded a future first for him.
So among the playoff roster, you're saying expose Conley, but protect Dillingham is what you're trying to say.
I can't see them letting go of Dillingham since they invested so much into getting him.
I get you. I
That
see
is
your
such
logic.
a big
And the players above that depth roster is just not. No, we're not exposing McDaniels. We're not exposed. Randall's got an opt out, but you can't do that.
Yeah, those 6 are already set. So
I know people think Rudy Gobert's overpaid and he's not productive. I understand that. You can't absolutely do not expose him.
you can't,
Absolutely
because
not.
if they lose him there, that no. So between Dillingham, Shannon, and Conley, one of those have to go. I would say it's Conley because he's old, and as much as you love him, I think you need to keep Dillingham for the future.
One trick though, if he's a buyout situation for the expansion team, because Minnesota's passed the tax, they can't buy him again. They can't sign him.
They can't sign him. Also, they can't because of expansion.
So that means
draft.
he's gone. That means if he's picked by the expansion team, he's gone.
I would just say you have to go with the future, and if you let Dillingham go, that you have no developmental.
I'll cater to this one, but Dillingham has to get better in terms of turnover percentage. Like he is a really up and down player.
He was a project, but I can't see them.
Shannon's actually kind of big. Like he actually is like a big physical guy who can get to the free throw line at guard. So I would definitely keep him at all costs. The rest of them, yeah, they can go.
Okay. New
The
Orleans.
Pelicans, can we just expose them all? Except for Murphy?
You can't expose Murphy or Herb or Jordan
I've been
Hawkins
seeing Trey Murphy the third in a lot of trade talk lately.
But that's because he's one of those, he could fetch a fortune. So
the rumor is that supposedly Zion's the only untouchable one. I don't believe it. I think Joe Dumars is bluffing.
So
but this would be.
They need to expose 4. I might defer to you on this one.
I would expose CJ McCollum. See if someone will take the last year of that contract.
I would expose McCollum. I'm on the fence about DeJounte Murray. I can leave him open because I can't see with those injuries somebody wanting him.
I can't see the Las Vegas team taking McCollum and the Seattle team taking DeJounte. Like I just
nope. Let me just pause you here. Maybe I should have gone over the rules. No, that's for the next episode. The rules are when a team drafts one player, that team is off the list. So let's say, for example, Antonio Reeves, he's the obvious cut.
Yeah, I would cut him. And Carl
he's exposed. But so let's say Seattle takes Antonio Reeves. Vegas can't take McCollum. You can't double dip on one team.
And you know what's funny about that? Just come to think of it. I mean, this is all hypothetical, of course. DeJounte Murray is from Seattle.
I just don't think with his injury, I would personally expose. Okay, so we're keeping Zion, we're keeping Trey Murphy,
Yves Messi and Hawkins and
Alvarado, Messi. That's 6. Olynyk I would keep. I had him initially as exposed, but I think they like him.
I would expose Matt Kovich, Antonio Reeves, and Brandon Boston. That makes sense.
So,
and I would expose McCollum.
McCollum. That's the 4. I would just I would think I would expose DeJounte and just save Boston. Right. But if you want to keep DeJounte, I can.
This is gonna free my team up some money. Let's go for it.
Because I can't see. I don't want to give away my strategy, but I would rather have Matovich or Boston over Murray or McCollum.
Well, it's not even I would rather these lesser than players. It's I would rather try to shed some of this salary.
So, okay, we can expose DeJounte as well.
Okay.
So, since we're exposing Murray and McCollum, and between Matkovich and Boston, we get to keep one of those 2.
I would keep Matkovich because he can rebound.
All right, we'll keep him. Okay, now this I think is what I was saving my
The
veto
Oklahoma
for.
City Thunder,
I don't
their
know
entire
why.
roster is guaranteed under contract.
So 7 people need to be exposed, which guarantees one person is going to be picked from this team
It's
because they are
crazy.
so
Yeah.
deep. So obviously SGA, Hartenstein, Caruso, Lou Dort, and Chet and Jalen Williams, the good Jalen Williams, and
Mhm.
Case and Wallace.
Yes, he was a starter. You
Those
can't let him walk.
are 7 players right there. So of this following list, we can only keep one player. Isaiah Joe, Aaron Williams, Kenrick Williams, Ousmane Dang, Nikola Topic, AJ Mitchell, Dylan Jones, and the other Jalen Williams.
So let me say this: I did think about the possibility that Hartenstein is exposed and you protect Aaron Wiggins because Wiggins is a better offensive contributor. Hartenstein does help with their starting roster. He's expensive, but he's a movable center salary.
I would not expose Hartenstein.
That this is very hard because if you have to, if by nature you have to expose Joe and Wiggins, they're one of them is going. I'm telling you.
Joe
So
Wiggins and Topic.
yeah, Topic. Man, I would protect Wiggins. What do you think? You're gonna say Topic, aren't you?
Expose or keep?
You're gonna say I would keep Wiggins, but you're gonna say Topic, aren't you?
I would keep Wiggins as well.
Okay, so it sucks because Topic has a torn ACL before his draft. He
Yeah,
got
I
picked,
know, but
so no one he's sight unseen. He might be a really good player. Nobody knows it yet,
I
except for
was
Sam
ready
Presti.
to block Hartenstein there. Like you can't let him go because Phoenix could just say we will make that in a Durant trade. We'll do a 3-way trade.
And Hardenstein is just like I said, he's just one of those guys who, from a starting roster, he's not the most productive among the 5 starters, but he unlocks a lot of things. Like you can play double big, you can play fast with him. He has a hook shot. He was very good on their starting on a 68 win team starting roster for a reason. So you can't just let him walk away. If you have to let the bench people like Kenrich, Uzman, AJ Mitchell, they like a lot too. If they have to walk, they have to walk.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
and yeah, we knew that
because
was
they
going to
will.
happen.
And spoiler alert, this we don't even have to like speculate on this one. Whoever's on the Thunder exposed is going to get plucked. Period.
Yeah, there will be a top 2 pick guaranteed.
Right.
All right, Phoenix. This might have been the easiest one for me.
Mm-hmm.
They need to expose 2 people. One, obviously Bradley Beal, hoping you get
Well,
rid
they're
of him.
so desperate to get rid of Kevin Durant. Why don't you just expose him, huh?
Just let somebody take him and just
No,
get
you got to get something in return for him, so you can't do that.
Beal. They can't get rid of him. His no trade has been the thorn in their spine.
There's no way an expansion team would take Beal, correct?
Yeah, there's no way they would, but you just have to hope somebody does. So I would
Mm-hmm.
just expose him, and then so between one player, you got Durant, Booker, Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, Cody Martin, Vasily Micic. There's our cut. Richards, Dunn, and Oso
Yeah,
Iguodala.
Misic is going back to Europe reportedly. So
I
whatever.
would expose Beal and Micic. That's
Yeah.
so simple. All right, Portland. This is a team is also too deep. Not in the where they're all super good. Like
We have to cut 6 people or
6 people from
expose
Portland.
6 people. Yeah.
Exposed, yeah. So we got Eaton, Grant, Anthony Simons, Denny Avdija, Robert Williams, Matisse Thybulle, Scoot Henderson, Shane Sharp, Donovan Clingham, Chris Murray, Duop Reith, Tumari Kamara, Ryan Rupert, and Jabari Walker. So
I would expose Jeremy Grant.
I would expose Ayton before him. I would keep Grant because he's still serviceable. He's a good player. He's been a good locker room guy. He's been good all around. Ayton has not. So let's just start from the bottom up. Jabari Walker, Ryan Rupert, Duop Reith, and Chris Murray, safe to go. And Matisse Thybulle, safe to
Yeah,
cut. Safe to expose.
I would say safe. The only one I was thinking twice about was Jabari Walker, but his money's so small. To Marty Kamara, you have to protect.
Tumani Kamara, Donovan Clingan, Shane Sharp,
Sharp.
Scoot Henderson, Avdija.
Time Lord's got to go. Sorry.
So yeah, Time Lord. I would expose. I think I had him as a. So it really comes down to Time Lord or Ayton, or one of those 2.
Yeah, I had Time Lord as the exposed player
So
in
you'd
that
keep
situation.
Aiton and expose Time Lord.
That's what I said. Robert Williams a third for those who don't know. Aiton is at 35 plus million, and Williams is on lower money.
I'm
The
not.
thing is, Portland to this day is still near the tax line, and they're starting to see light at the end of the tunnel. But you need to make room. If you expose Aiton and he gets plucked, that gives you a lot more room.
Okay. So does that mean you want to expose
Let's
Aiton?
go ahead and just expose Aiton and
I would just
protect
think,
Williams.
just for the malcontentness of it, and I would expose Aiton. I don't know if he'd be taken
And it's not a
first.
guarantee he'll get picked.
It's
It's
That's
not a
why I'm like, it's a
guarantee.
safe hedging of a bet. I think the safer hedging
Mhm.
of the bet.
Right.
But yeah, definitely. That's one of the, like I said, that was the one I struggled a lot with. Sacramento. Oh, this is the easiest of easies. They
Yes.
need to expose two people. We'll start from the bottom up. Markel Fultz, Isaac Jones can be exposed, thus protecting Keon Ellis, Devin Carter, Jonas Valanciunas, Keegan Murray, Malik Monk, DeMar DeRozan, DeMontis Sabonis, and Zach Levine.
Yeah, that makes
Fairly.
perfect sense. Like, and the thing too is that what made it more interesting is that Fultz basically got a partially guaranteed deal at the end. So he's restricted free agency, which makes it easier to say, for example, Fultz was a two-way guy and he didn't get a guaranteed deal. This would have been harder because you would have had to cut someone between Ellis and Carter and Valanciunas. That would have been tougher. But that's not what
No,
happened.
that's fair. It's um, very simple. I would imagine.
Yeah. The Spurs.
Spurs need to expose three people. I think this is easy. I don't know. I don't remember your list, but maybe it'll be some discussion. So they need to expose three. Obviously, we're not. We're keeping Fox, Vassell, Barnes, Kelvin Johnson, Victor, Stephon Castle, Jeremy Sohan, thus leaving one player to keep between Malachi Branham, Blake Leslie, Julian Champagne, and Charles Bassey. I'd
We
imagine.
we did a rookie extension pod, talked about that exact scenario between Malachi Branham and Blake Wesley. And we both agreed Branham is more likely to get some kind of a deal than Wesley. So
But
I would say
neither. I'd say neither. I would keep Champagne of all of them because Champagne was
because
starting.
he's a 3-point shooter. Yeah, just like
Yes.
his twin brother
So
Justin.
Branham, Wesley, and Charles Bassey
Yeah.
exposed.
Yeah, that's fine. See if somebody wants to take fish for Malachi Branham. You know, they've given him chances. He's had games where he started when they had injuries, but I understand that. I understand the idea of keeping Champagne. I want to say he was probably I don't think he was the leader on the team that made threes. It was probably Vassell, but he was probably second. He's a gunner. He's tall, but he's a gunner, just like his twin brother, Justin, who plays, I believe,
Yes.
now in Washington.
He was or is in. Yes, he is in Washington. Correct.
Right.
I believe his expiring deal and will be.
And now the Fighting Angels, the Utah Angels,
Okay. This is another one. They have a bunch of people. They need
the
to
U-
expose
the Utah
six.
Jazz.
None of them are really good. So I don't even know about this one.
I would
This
expose
is
Taylor Hendricks to start.
no. I would keep him because he's low money,
And what
and
about Cody Williams?
I don't know. Okay, let's first. Here's the roster: Laurie Markkinen, John Collins, Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, KJ Martin, Taylor Hendricks, Cody Williams, Walker Kessler, Keontae George, Zvi Makayak,
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Filipowski, Jonathan Juzong, Bryce Sensabaugh, and Isaiah Collier. So we need to expose six. Let's work backwards. KJ Martin, Milachuk, Juzang, and Sensabaugh all.
Milochuk. You said that like the poison resin that the Russians give people. Makayak.
Makayak.
Svi Makayak.
Zvi Makayak.
But I would expose Johnny Juzang. I'll say that.
Yep. Juzang,
I would keep
Sensabaugh.
Sensabaugh even though
No.
he's
Who are you
up and
keeping him
down.
over?
I mean, he's such a talented
Okay.
player. They
So
have so much
let's
talent on that team, you know?
Laurie
Uh,
Markkinen, John Collins, Colin Sexton, Taylor Hendricks, Walker Kessler, Keontae George, Kyle Filipowski, and Isaiah Collier.
I really thought about exposing John Collins. The thing is, I think I think they still see value in the last year of his deal to
I
move
see
him.
value in him. I could see them exposing Jordan Clarkson.
Mm-hmm. Clarkson's a solid player when he's not missing. He's not on the witness protection program. Colin Sexton's the same. Um, Walker Kessler, absolutely not. He has to be protected. So is Keontae George.
So we got Markkinen, Collins, Taylor Hendricks, Kessler, George, Filipowski, and Collier is 7. So we're exposing Clarkson, Martin, Makayak, Juzang, Sensabaugh. So between Cody Williams,
This is a mess. This
Cody,
roster is a fucking mess.
so we're keeping Sexton. Therefore, we have to expose Cody Williams.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. He was a bust.
But it's such a high pick to expose. But it's just like
Sometimes you
you
just
can't,
strike out in the draft lottery. I don't know what else to tell
like,
you.
between Hendricks and Williams, I'd have to keep Hendricks 10 times out of 10.
And what about Collier?
Collier, you have to keep.
Yeah, he's a backup point guard, I guess. And they played Filipowski a lot, but he was a second round pick.
Like Sexton, I was on the fence about, but he's still young enough. I think you could get something for him. And Collins, you could get something for him. Okay, we'll expose Cody Williams.
Okay.
And
what about where does Filipowski fit here? He's exposed in this case.
We're keeping him.
Okay. Yeah, because his wife won't let him play anywhere else.
So that is our list, our protection list. We will review the list when we get to the draft and the expansion draft. And also, I will say right now, which I'll reiterate the next episode, whoever is first in the expansion draft gets the 7th pick of the NBA draft, the 2025 NBA draft.
So that's the actual CBA rule.
And whoever picks second, I don't know how, I imagine that's how it worked last time when there was Toronto and Vancouver. Toronto picked first, but Vancouver got the higher draft pick. So we will figure that out. Next episode, we will also draft our players and we will have our final team. This has just been the exposing list. I thought you would have gone more hardline than you did.
No, I relented on a couple, but I did have to use a veto so that Kyrie Irving was not exposed.
Had to like when I reformatted my list for East and West, I had to get a lot less hardline and change a lot of my reds to tans. And I can sort of go either ways.
The one that you thought I was going to veto and I didn't was the one about the Pelicans where we're exposing 2 like $30 million plus earning players. I'm like, nope, that's a great idea.
No, I thought I was going to come down to Kuminga, that you were going to be like, no, let him go. Fuck him.
Yeah.
We don't need him. But the NBA, we're noticing, like, when this actually does happen, there's going to be a lot of good talent available to be picked up. Like, we've done it, we've done this a few times, and it was just like,
so I don't know. I don't know where your memory is on. Now, let me tell you this late 80s. I can't tell you. Okay. I don't remember how bad the Charlotte Hornets were and the Miami Heat were and the Wolves were and the Magic were. They did have bad years when I started watching the NBA. I could tell you that I knew they were bad, but I didn't watch them in their infancy.
Of course they were.
I did see the Raptors and the Grizzlies. And yes, like those teams were hideously bad through the expansion draft.
They were supposed to be bad, so you can get that second pick.
But I'll say this, that pick was important because the fact that the Raptors got Stoudemire gave them a leg up over the Grizzlies because the Grizzlies picked Bryant Big Country Reeves, who wasn't the worst player, but he wasn't as good as Damon Stoudemire.
But you needed Stoudemire and then Camby and then Tracy McGrady. Like you need,
and then Carter.
3 to 4 years of these top 5 picks.
Bobcats, it's not, we don't have to go back all the way to it, but that was bad drafting. That was bad drafting for a solid 5 years under Robert Johnson and Michael Jordan.
Oh, that was just like they had 2 picks that year. They picked Sean May and
They picked Sean May. They picked
the
one
other
year.
UNC guard.
They picked Bismack Biyombo one year.
And also Charlotte, you said you forget how bad they were at the beginning. Remember, they got Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning, who were both.
They got one guy in the expansion. Well, no, Ronnie Cycli, I think they drafted out of the draft. I think. Am I right or wrong?
We are going back too far. I don't. We are focusing on this upcoming draft, and we have our list we will choose from next time. And like I said, we'll have our NBA draft teams picked and everything. So this will be obviously the other part. Yeah, the second half will just be our drafting play. They're going to be done at two completely different times because obviously we have to pick our expansion team before we draft. It can't be like, well, we knew, who would have thought Cooper Flagg fell down to 5th all of a sudden randomly.
Right.
So I'm going to redo my team knowing I'm getting Cooper Flagg.
No.
And
yeah, we can't do
that's
that.
why you have to pick. This whole expansion thing is done before the draft. So teams already can now prepare for the draft saying, I just lost.
To my memory, I do remember the 04 expansion draft being before the NBA draft.
Yeah, I lost my player, therefore I need to look at the
Mm-hmm.
draft this way now.
I still remember the biggest deal in that, the biggest pick in that one. It was Gerald Wallace, and he actually wound up being their first All-Star.
Yep.
Yep.
So, all right, for Andrew Reich, I am Adam Murray. Have a good one.
Take care.